Go to the Skype machine and welcome in the reigning defending UFC light heavyweight champion. Look at that smile. I only see like there it is. Look at that. We got the beard. We're in war mode right now. This is full on training camp, right?
Hey, wait. What's up with your guys' deal? I can't see my face. All I see is Noad Lahat's hat.
Well, that's done on purpose. I don't know.
Why am I facing?
I don't know.
Noad Lahat. Maybe if I turn it like this.
No, don't do that. That's a big mistake. Go back the other way. Yeah. But we only see like the top half of your hair and your eyes. So maybe you want to pan down.
Me too. What is going on?
No, just pan down a little bit. There we go. That's perfect.
I can't sit here for the next 10 minutes. And it's showing my hairline. Holy smoke. You guys see this is my hair? And we're supposed to be friends?
What do we do?
Nope, bad angle.
Have we reached LeBron James status here with the hair?
We have pushed through the LeBron status and just gone on to just Carlos Boozer. It's about time to start putting that stuff in there, that black paint.
You did that once in Newark. You remember that?
See my face now? Or
I can see everything. We're good. Don't worry about me. You don't have to see me. You're perfect.
All right.
Remember that time in Newark when they painted your hair?
That new studio you got there. Yeah, that was in Newark.
Yeah.
I was looking pretty. I thought I felt younger. I looked better, but I figured if I went on TV like that, people would make more fun of me than they do now. So I was like, you know what? Let's not give them any more ammunition.
By the way, you've never done the hair plug thing like LeBron, right? Because that's a big mistake.
I didn't do it, man.
Good.
You know, I figure I'll just go ahead and age gracefully. I'll hold on to this thing. Listen, there's no quit in me. So when my hair starts to go back to like right here, I'll still have this same haircut.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no quit in Daniel Cormier.
I appreciate that very much. What about the state of 214 as champion, as headliner, as the guy who gets pay-per-view points? I mean, 214 is the real 213, if we're being honest. This was the card that was supposed to be International Fight Week. It just keeps getting better every day.
I feel like we may be giving Anaheim. They had like 2 fight cards canceled last year.
Okay.
So they're like, you know what? Let's give them a little something. But it's good for me because the first time John and I fought, it was essentially a boxing fight card, you know, where the co-main event was Miles Jury and Donald Cerrone. Yeah. You know, so it was this time there are a lot of fights. I can't even make out the main card at this point. You know, John and I, Cyborg, Tyron, I figure those are the top 3 fights. And then your guess is as good as mine. Cerrone Lawler would have to be on the main card. And then is it Manuwa on the main card? Is it Barao on the main card? Who's on the main card as the other fight? I have no idea.
You think this does $1 million?
Great, though. That's a good problem to have.
You think it does $1 million?
We did really well last time. I mean, I know the numbers. We did really, really good last time. So without help, so I think we'll do pretty good. You know, I don't want to be sitting there counting numbers before they come in. You know, so we've been on the good side of pay-per-views and we've been on the bad side of some pay-per-views, and trust me, this one seems to be trending in the right direction.
One theory that has been brought up is that they are loading the deck in case this fight falls through. Less than a month away. Are you still worried about that? Does it feel like, okay, I only really believe that I'm actually going to get my hands on this guy again, you know, once we're in the cage staring at each other?
I try to be positive, you know, because at this point, what's the point in stressing, man? You think that everything's good, but I mean, last time it was like 2 days before the fight. So I'm not going to really be completely secure until we're in the octagon. Things can happen at any time, man, and I'm gonna be there. So let's hope that John's there too.
When you guys had that exchange at the press conference, looking back now, I mean, the gloves are definitely off between you two. Is there anything you regret about what was said at that press conference?
No, I don't regret anything I say.
Okay.
You know, I'm not lying. I don't make shit up. You know, all the stuff I say is the truth. You know, so. If I'm willing to point out his flaws, then I'll point out his flaws. See, this is the difference. You know, I could care less if Jon Jones likes me or he thinks I'm stepping over the line. I don't give a shit. So if you dislike what I'm saying, fine, we got to fight. You know, you get an opportunity to fight me. So I regret nothing. And if I had another opportunity to say it, I'd tell him again. I'm not backing down from anything I say.
He's really owning his past, transgressions. Does that surprise you, or do you think that's the smart thing to do?
At what point can you? At what point do you start to do that, though? I mean, is there any hiding from him anymore? It's almost like, Ariel. Like if after the first time something happened, he stood up and said, "You know what? I own what I've done. I'm not going to do it anymore." Cool. But once you've done things so many times that there's just no other way, then I don't have to give him credit for it. And what does it even matter? Like, what does it matter if I care that he's owning this shit?
No.
I don't care. Because what if he still lied? Sure, then lie. I don't care. Say he didn't do it. He could literally be standing there with blood on his hands at a crime scene and say, "I didn't do it." And I'd be like, "Okay, you say you didn't do it? Sure, you didn't do it. I don't care."
So it's interesting because there was some talk that he would take a tune-up. That was kind of presented. You would fight Manuwa. He didn't end up taking the tune-up. Obviously, he's fighting you. Do you feel, was there any part of you that thought there's a chance he might take the tune-up, or did you know that he would always take the fight against you right off the bat?
Well, the truth of the matter is, there wasn't much of a choice.
Oh.
Because there were talk of different dates. He wanted different dates. He talked of maybe fighting someone different. And, I went to the organization. I said, they offered me the Manuwa fight for July 29th in Anaheim. And I told the boss, a week after I fought Rumble, Dana called me. I was on my way to Kansas City. Jimi Manuwa was in his office, and he goes, "You versus Manuwa in Anaheim." I said, "Well, he goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "It needs to be Jones." I go, "It needs to be Jones." I go, "Make it happen." And then I badgered him. And I go, "Tell me he's ready to go." And he's like, "Well, I'm talking to him. Tell me he's going to do it." "Well, I'm talking to him right now. We're going to get it figured out. We'll get it figured out." And after about a week of me just badgering him, he goes, "DC, calm down. I'm working on it." Finally, it was Jones. It had to be Jones. Ariel, I want fights, like that gets me going. It's like Rumble Johnson was like, is he really going to be able to do it this time? Can he get one on me and knock me out? That's the stuff that gets my juices flowing. Can Jon Jones do what he did last time and beat me again? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's the stuff that gets my juices going. Otherwise, I'll just do TV. They tell me, "You got to fight Jimi Manuwa." I'm like, for what? This dude has no chance. Like, come on.
What about Volkan Ozdemir?
What's he going to do, Volkan Ozdemir, I'll retire.
You'll retire before fighting him?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I just need to. If Volkan Ozdemir goes out there and he smashes Jimi Manuwa and looks like this real contender, and after I'm done with Jones, I wake up in a couple weeks and I go, yeah, it makes my juices. I feel it. I feel like I want to fight Volkan. I'll do it. But otherwise, I'll be like, okay, I'll fight Jones again. Because I know every time I fight Jones, it'll get me going.
Right.
Like, I'm 38. It's like, I swear, like, when I was about to fight Ryan Bader in New Orleans, I was setting myself up for a trap fight. Because I wasn't necessarily training all that hard. I was still doing TV way too close to the fight. I was like, it didn't really, really get me as excited as it should have. And I felt, because of the place that I'm at in my life, in terms of my family, my financial position, my future, it's like certain things have to be like, it has to really get you going, man. Otherwise, you're going to go out there and not be at 100%. So Rumble did that. Rumble got me excited. Obviously, a fight with Jones gets me excited because he beat me. And I can honestly say right now, those other fights, they don't really do that. And notice I'm not saying Gustafsson, because I just really don't want to have to fight him again. He was kind of tough last time, so I steer clear Alexander Gustafsson. Congratulations on your kid, Alex. Good job, buddy.
Yes, and also he got engaged. I don't know if you saw that in the middle of the cage.
Yeah, great. Good for Alex. That dude ran me through the freaking ringer last time.
So recently on the program, we had Mike Winklejohn on the show, who, of course, is Jon Jones's longtime striking coach. And I asked him about whether or not they consider taking a tune-up fight. And I just want to play you this quick clip. And I want you to focus. I don't know if you've heard this clip, but focus on the way he says your name when he answers the question. This is very interesting. Here's the quick clip of me talking to Mike.
For the belt. I don't think he had any need for a tune-up fight to go fight Daniel Cormier. I think as much as I respect Daniel, I think this is a good fight for Jon because we beat him the first time. I think Daniel couldn't take him down. Jon was able to take him down. Jon was able to, I think, beat him everywhere. And I think that plays in our favor this fight, that we can expand on that and change some things as Daniel will try so that he fails once again.
So that's Wink talking about you. The way he said your name made me think that he's like, we're not going to, Daniel Cormier. I mean, come on.
Maybe they think this is their tune-up fight. Maybe this is the tune-up fight to get to Alexander. All these things are I don't really necessarily pay attention to it.
Okay.
Mike's obviously a fantastic trainer, but reality is, like, I don't know. Outside of being Jon Jones' trainer, I really don't know who Mike Winklejohn is, so he's Jon Jones' trainer. So he has to have confidence in the person or the guys that have made him who he is, because if not for those guys, I wouldn't know who he is. So his bit of arrogance, maybe it's warranted because they won the first fight, but whatever, it's almost like these guys, it's almost like the thought of the fight is that he just really went in there and it's almost like he beat me up like he beat up Glover Teixeira or how he won every round against Rashad or against all these other dudes. It's like they're approaching this fight as if it was a wash the first time, and it's really good for me. It makes me happy that they see no threat in a fight against me.
Okay. One interesting aspect of this fight that hasn't been brought up, I did mention this to you privately, but what I love about it is it's full circle for your relationship. Are you still there?
Yep, I got a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Busy guy.
Full circle for your relationship because you first ran into Jon Jones at the Pond in Anaheim back at UFC 121, right? This is amazing.
The very first time I met him was at UFC 121. Kane was fighting Brock Lesnar for the belt. It was the first time that we came into contact. Obviously, that wasn't the most pleasant experience. Also, it was one of my better nights. Seeing Kane have his moment in the Pond in front of the people from California. I just remember thinking, wow, this is just an amazing arena to compete in and be a part of something so big. And now I get to go there and make my own history, and it's just crazy, man, because so many times, whereas I was going insane when Kane won his belt and hugging him and jumping as the belt was getting strapped on him, and Kane gets to experience that with me this time as my partner, so it's crazy how my career has gone. It's unbelievable, man. I'm excited about that, excited to go into the place that I felt we had our first negative interaction, to going and making my lasting memory of the Honda Center a great one by beating this guy.
Could you put a word into the marketing team? Because I keep saying that this is the greatest fight in UFC history. It's the first time that we have number one versus number two, not only in the division, but in the sport, going toe-to-toe. And I feel like they're missing the boat. We could get 1 million buys. We could get 1 million plus if they do it that way. Can you tell them to start pushing that narrative? Because that is a legit narrative.
I think it's the truth. I do say a lot about Jones, but the one thing I do respect, as I've said from the very beginning, is his ability to compete and his ability as a fighter. But my ability to compete, my ability as a fighter has taken me to where I am today. 42-1 is the record combined between the two of us, with the only loss being to the other guy in this fight. We've both shown dominance over this division, man, and the ability to beat the other guys. So I truly do believe you are watching MMA at the highest level whenever we are inside the octagon. It's, yes, push it as the great. This is the greatest light heavyweight fight of all time.
That's no
I
question.
know we romanticize our childhood. We make it feel like it could never be better than what we remember as youngsters. But take notice of what's happening right now. And I respect the guys that came before us. I do respect the guys that made the UFC's 205-pound division the glamour division of mixed martial arts. But the reality of the situation is you are watching the two best to ever do it in this weight class. If you think for a second that any of these guys that Jon beat in his title reign I wouldn't beat, you're out of your mind. And if you think that any of the guys from back in the day would have beaten Jon Jones or beat me, it's just not the truth. And I'm not saying it arrogant. I'm just saying that these are the two best light heavyweight fighters that the UFC's ever seen.
California made history last week. They made you guys weigh in a month before. Did you like that? And could you tell us how much you weighed? Because Andy Foster said he was particularly impressed with you.
It was good, because you have to take it serious.
Yeah.
I know that what California is doing is in the best interest of the fighter. So at this point, I would still be pretty heavy. I'd still be high 230s, and just kind of managing my weight. In the last month is when I start to diet. But on Friday or Thursday, which was a month and a day from the weigh-ins, I was 226. So
wow,
20 pounds overweight was really good. I feel like the nutrition is on point. The training's been fantastic. Tyler Mitten is my new nutritionist. He works for Lockhart and Leith, the fitness VT guys, and I'm enjoying him, man. I'm enjoying him and the stuff that he's feeding me, and the training has been going great. Like I said, when you're motivated, everything else becomes easy, and I'm very motivated right now to fight Jon Jones.
Just a couple more things. I want to ask you about Aaron Pico. Was it a mistake to put him on pay-per-view against a guy who was 8-2? What'd you make of all of that?
I don't believe it was a mistake. I believe he was ready for it because I believe that he's a rare, special talent, and I believe that his story is far from written. You got to remember, man, the greatest fighters of all time have lost. Anderson Silva has losses. People call him the greatest of all time. One of the best, Chuck Liddell, has losses. George St. Pierre has losses. So it's not like Aaron Pico's story is written. Aaron Pico's story is just beginning, so he took a chance. Look, man, not everybody's Conor McGregor. Not everybody shoots big and hits every single time. Aaron Pico shot for the stars, man, and it didn't work out in the first fight. But it's only the first fight. Okay. Aaron Pico's still going to be a world champ, and he's still going to be one of the greatest fighters to ever put on a pair of gloves. So, no mistake. I believe that the team made the right choice, and he'll be fine.
I can't wait for this fight. By the way, can you just do me one favor? You got Chris Paul. Can you leave Melo alone? What's up with this? Melo's going to the Rockets too?
We want him. Hey,
come on.
We want him bad. We want everybody. Listen, the great Daryl Morey is just he's showing how it should be done in the NBA,
Gosh.
It's like my two favorite teams, the Warriors and the Rockets, man. We're just really, really doing well.
Yeah. PJ Tucker, you guys are killing it. You're winning championships on one coast. Your other team's loading up. It's good to be you.
I'm just winning all over the place, man. I'm winning all over the place. Things are good for me, and then look at UFC 214.
214.
The biggest fight card of the year. The biggest fight card of the year. I get to take the last walk. My name's on the marquee. I walk to the octagon last. I leave the octagon last as the still champion. Things don't get better than that, man.
Okay. And by the way, is Rumble dropped this thing, right? This ridiculous after the fact appeal. Did you ever hear anything about that with the New York weigh-ins? I mean, it's amazing to do this after the fact. You talk about sour grapes.
Yeah, it was a little nut. It was a little crazy, So I had to I faded like Jay-Z. I fade to black a little bit on that situation. I just kind of, hey, I was like. It was like when he was doing all that, I was like in the closet, like I was like under the bed playing hide and seek. where you could see me, but I was still kind of hiding, like pretending you couldn't see me. So I was kind of happy that kind of didn't work. I just kind of lay off in the cuts, fade to black.
Yeah, I respect that. That's smart. That's a smart. Will Chamberlain redefined the NBA. They put in 3 in the key. You redefined the weigh-ins. That's your legacy. The greats redefined the game.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. When it's all said and done, I shall be remembered as more than Daniel Cormier, the analyst UFC champion. I am the guy.
All right, we shall leave it at that. Daniel, great to catch up. I can't wait for it. UFC 214, Anaheim, California, the Pond, Honda Center, less than a month away. It is the card that I think the UFC wanted for July 8th, but you got to wait a few more weeks. This is the card of the year, the card of the summer, no doubt about that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks in Anaheim.
My man, take it easy.
Much love. There he is, DC, the reigning and defending UFC light heavyweight champion. Like I said, they need to promote this fight as the best ever.